What is up, guys? Today we are going to be taking a look at the Scuf Infinity1 versus the Xbox Elite controller. So let's dive right on in. Alright guys, so here is the box that it came in. As you can see, it says Scuf Professional Gaming Controller. So let's break this bad boy out and see what comes in it. Let's see. It's going to be weird. I've never done this before, so we'll set this off to the side. There you go. You can see the Scuf logo there embossed on the top here. And let's see, we've got a couple things in here that are pretty important. So first off, I actually ordered the electromagnetic remapping, so that's what this is. It comes with the little key to do the remapping system to change my back paddles. We've got this, set this off to the side as well. We also have this nice little thank you note from the Scuf team thanking me for giving them my money. So then here we also have the instructions / like owner manual for the Scuf controller and all that fun stuff. It just breaks down how to use it and what to do. Got this cool little Team Scuf sticker. And then one last little small package is the spare, or the backs, right, the grip, and it comes with a key to adjust the trigger, so that's going to be in here as well. Alright, and then here is the actual controller itself. As you guys can see, I went with like that anodized like silver look with the blue buttons, and it even comes with batteries, which is nice. And then because this is the Infinity collection, it comes with the key to take off your thumbsticks whenever you want. So let's take it out and just see how it feels. So first things first, right away, is it is definitely lighter than the Xbox Elite controller. But other than that, you know, it's your standard Xbox controller, just modified. It's got the buttons just kind of blurred out. They're all blue, just to go with the colors. And then, of course, we've got the quote-unquote Scufology, and that is going to be the paddles on the back. So I got the one with 4 paddles, mapped with, you know, A, B, X, and Y, and you can always adjust them and redo them with the EMR system. I've got the Scuf like gamer grip as well, so that, I don't know, it feels pretty good. I've never had that before. But like I said before, it definitely is lighter than the Elite. First thing that I noticed right away is because I ordered the tall aim stick that is actually convexed. So if you can see how it is kind of convex as opposed to my left thumbstick, which is going to be concaved. I just like the way that it feels. I like the domed one. I wish that the Elite had an option to have a tall domed aim stick, but unfortunately the tall stick is only a concaved one. So I'm just not a huge fan of that. But again, that's just personal preference, and like I said, I did go with the tall one. I did have the option to get the D-pad as well, swapped out for the disc, and I chose against that because I just don't need it for the games that I play. I like being able to quickly press left or right on the said D-pad. I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect, and you have to use your D-pad quite a bit. So just being accurate with your up, down, left, and right, I just felt I didn't really need it. Let's see, the trigger, it does come with trigger stops, so it's got the hair triggers. So I will turn this over so that you guys can see. Hopefully you'll be able to see, but it doesn't go all the way down. So I'm pressing it to its max, and it doesn't complete the motion and get this trigger doesn't get flush, you know, and that's part of the features. It's a trigger stop mechanism so that you don't waste time completing that full motion by going all the way down. Cool. So it's just more for your shooter games and stuff like that. That way you're not with semi-auto weapons and so on and so forth. The theory there is that you can fire them faster. It does come with both, and they are adjustable, so you would use the key to take off your side grips here, and you'll be able to adjust your trigger stops and kind of find that where the threshold is. The back paddles, they feel pretty good to depress. You know, I don't know if you can hear it. I'll put it against the mic. So the paddles already do feel very, very good. I do like that kind of, I guess, haptic feedback where like I know that I'm pressing the button. They are much harder to press, which I like. The Xbox Elite, you know, the buttons are easier to press down, which causes me to sometimes accidentally press them, and I'm just not a fan of that. So, and the paddles are actually on here by the battery pack, so you can just take that off, and you can actually adjust your paddles as well, which is pretty cool. But like I said, the buttons are definitely harder to press, which I like a lot, because I don't know, it's less room for error, so I don't think I'll accidentally press the paddle, which is nice. Also, the placement of the paddles is pretty nice. It's just kind of a natural feel. Granted, I'm going to have to get used to using these paddles again, but I do like the placement for sure. They feel pretty natural. The Xbox Elite actually, because of the placement of those paddles, it really is tough to use all four, just because of where they're placed. I find myself accidentally pressing the X and Y ones a lot because they're so delicate and so much easier to press. With this one, I just don't feel like I have that problem. But yeah, so it's going to take some getting used to. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it, so we're going to test it out and see how it actually fares. Alright, so for your Xbox Elite controller, what you get right out the box is this fancy case. And the case does more than just protect your controller. It actually helps keep you organized with all your parts and accessories for the ones that you're not using, because one of the main features of this controller is its ability to be customized on the fly. So, let's take it out the box, and the first thing that you notice is that it is significantly heavier than your Scuf controller. In fact, one of the features of the Scuf is that you can opt to have your rumbles taken out, which will shed the weight. I have heard some people talk about how they do not like the weight of this controller because it's just uncomfortable or something like that. Personally, I have never had issues with that. In fact, I thoroughly enjoy the weight of this controller compared to the Scuf, because it just feels, I don't know, it just feels just more robust in my hands. So I think that's just personal preference. I can understand why some people would prefer a lighter weight controller, but for me personally, I play for very long sessions. I do not mind. So if we flip the controller over, though, we'll see the main feature, right, is your paddles. Now you're going to notice this is different than your Scuf paddles. They're a different placement, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it does come with 4 paddles, and the cool thing is that, again, you can customize right on the fly because these are magnetic, so you can just pop them in and out like so. Very, very easy to adjust. I never ever use 4 paddles, so I typically run 2 just for my A and B buttons, but that's just me. The other thing that you'll notice are these little green switches right here. These are for your trigger stops. So if you want to use a hair trigger, all you got to do is flip those switches down in the down position, and you will see that you will have less movement or less motion for your triggers. So that's full range of motion here. It's kind of tough to see in the video, but if I press that down, then it will reduce the amount of motion that this trigger has. I like the hair triggers. I use them for sure. 100% really like the hair triggers. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what comes in the case again. One of the features is how customizable this thing is on the go. So it comes with 2 tall thumbsticks that are concaved, so you can switch out your thumbsticks very easily, very quickly for whichever one you would prefer. It also comes with 2 domed sticks that are a medium height, so they're going to be slightly taller than your standard Xbox controller height. And yeah, so they're going to be the domed stick, which I prefer. I like the domed ones a lot. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So it comes with 2 standard height Xbox concaved thumbsticks, 2 medium height convexed thumbsticks, and then 2 long height concaved thumbsticks. The other feature is your control disc for your D-pad is also included, and it's pretty cool. Again, all magnetic, so you can pop that on and use it. I never really use this D-pad, although I do love the way it looks. I just never use it. Don't really need that sort of precision. I hear it's probably best for like your fighting games and so on and so forth. So I like to keep all this on. But again, you can see just how easily it is to pop all these parts on and off and switch them to whichever ones that you feel like using. The other thing included in this box with this controller is a braided cable, braided USB cable to connect to your Xbox, because one of the other great features of this controller is that you can customize with the software how this controller responds. You can adjust everything from your thumbsticks and how aggressive the movement is and how sensitive that is. You can adjust your hair triggers to where the dead zone is and where the dead space is. So you can really fire on a hair trigger, which I think is awesome. You can set presets, name the presets. The software even comes preloaded with some presets for certain games like Gears of War, Halo, so on and so forth, which I think is a really, really cool feature. That's something that is not included in the Scuf, but is exclusive to this Xbox Elite controller. But yeah, that about sums it up. That's pretty much everything that you get with the Xbox Elite. So let's go into some actual gameplay and testing. Alright, so now that we know essentially what you get with each of the controllers right out of the box, what we'll do now is pro-con each controller. Now keep in mind this is the part of the video that will be more subjective. I did kind of discuss some of these features and maybe some of the complaints while I was doing the unboxing videos. But this is going to be a super quick list, and I'll have them on screen as I go over, and I'll explain in more detail for sure. So let's start with the Scuf controller. Pros for the Scuf is going to be number one, paddles, and more specifically the actual placement of them. The triggers, the paddle triggers feel so much more responsive and just more crisp, and they are not as sensitive. Therefore, I do not find myself accidentally pressing them, and I can grip the controller normally. So I can grip it like I normally would, and I do not have to worry about them being accidentally pressed. The next thing that I absolutely love about the Scuf is the actual thumbsticks. I like the way the domed thumbstick feels for my aim. So for my right thumbstick, I want the domed one. And the Xbox Elite controller, unfortunately, does not come with a tall, domed thumbstick. So that's what I use. That's personal preference, and I wish the Xbox Elite had a tall, domed thumbstick for my aim. The other thing that Scuf wins out on is definitely going to be the just aesthetic appeal and the aesthetic customization. Being able to literally get whatever color scheme that you could possibly think of is a huge deal for some people. The other one is going to be the grip. I do like the gamer grip. That's pretty cool. I've never had it before, but I do just like the way it feels. It feels very comfortable in my hand. And then the other pro and the last one I would say is probably the weight. It is a lighter controller. Some people absolutely love that. Again, I'm not very particular to it. I'm indifferent whenever it comes to the weight, but having a lighter weight controller, I do see the appeal, and I'm definitely going to have to give that to Scuf because the Elite does weigh so much more. So going into the cons for the Scuf, for sure the triggers. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but triggers for sure is a huge one because a lot of people do not know this. You cannot use the hairline trigger with all first-person shooter games. So at first I was very, very confused when I got this controller and started playing with it more. And I was playing and I found myself, I play Destiny. The gameplay you're seeing is obviously Destiny. And you cannot use all of the weapons in Destiny with the Scuf hair triggers. Not only that, but since I have had my last Scuf, they have updated how you adjust the trigger. So you used to have to pop the entire panel off to access the hair trigger inside. Now they give you the little Allen key and you can adjust the hair trigger, which, spoiler alert, it doesn't do a damn thing. So the hair trigger, it does nothing. I tried using it in Destiny and it just absolutely is not optimized for it. So what I did was I went on the Scuf website and found out that under the frequently asked questions where it says, why are my triggers not working? It says, and I quote, the controller and the triggers are optimized for Call of Duty. So if you do not play Call of Duty, do not waste your money on the hair triggers. I will repeat that. If you don't play Call of Duty, don't get the hair triggers installed on your Scuf because it will not work with all of your games. I don't remember the last time I played Call of Duty. Maybe whenever I play it again, I'll pop those triggers, the hair triggers back on, but until then, I'm just kind of shit out of luck. I wish that was something that Scuf addressed on the front side of things, but they don't. So I'm here to tell you that if you don't play Call of Duty, if you play any other FPS, Overwatch, Destiny, anything like that, don't even bother spending the extra money on the hair triggers because you won't be able to use them. The other con that I have to say is just the overall build quality. So as I was playing more with the Scuf, I did have to take the hair trigger off and put just the normal grip back on and use the normal trigger. But as I was playing, my left trigger that I would press to aim was getting stuck. And it would stick, and I would stay ADSing, and I would have to wiggle it a little bit to get it out. Now, this is a brand new controller. I have had it for about a week. I don't think there's any reason for it to be doing that, especially for the price that I paid for this controller. I should not have to worry about my trigger sticking in the first week. So what I had to do was literally get inside of the controller where the trigger is. It's come to find out something was just rubbing on it, and I've been sort of bending and flexing, and it's just a pain in the ass, and I don't feel like for the money that I paid for this I should be having to do that. Which brings me to the final, I suppose, con to this controller, and that is just going to be the price. Now, I paid, with shipping and everything, over $200 for this Scuf. That is significantly more than your Xbox Elite, so once we get into that review, which is coming up next, you will see there is a significant price difference, especially considering that I can't even really use all the features that I paid for, like the hair triggers. So, yeah, with that said, let's go into the Xbox Elite Pro Con list. So the Elite, right off the bat, I'm going to say is just the ability to quickly customize your controller. So you can pop off any thumbstick you want, pop the new one back on, take the disc off and put the normal D-pad on. You can adjust your hair triggers with the flip of a switch. So quick customization is really cool. The software that comes with this controller and comes installed on your Xbox is really cool. Being able to, map out the internals of the Xbox controller and how it just responds, definitely a win when it comes to this controller. The triggers feel great. The triggers, they work. That's why I'm giving them the Pro on this. They work compared to my Scuf. I've never had any issues with them. The overall build quality, I gotta say, feels better. This controller, if you were to really hold the two and feel the two, I feel like the Xbox Elite just feels like it is a little bit better quality. It doesn't feel as cheap. Maybe it's because they use just less plastic. I'm not sure. But again, that is strictly subjective, and that is just how I feel about it. The Elite, also, the last pro, is the price. You can get an Xbox Elite controller right now for $142. That is a fantastic price. So that definitely wins out with your plus $200 Scuf if you even want some of the features that the Xbox Elite has. But let's go into the cons, because there are definitely some for the Xbox Elite. Number one is going to be the thumbsticks. Again, I mentioned this whenever I was talking about the Scuf. I like the ability to have a tall, domed aim stick, and unfortunately the Elite does not come with that option. I wish they did. If they did, I would probably have stuck with my Elite. The second con is going to be the just overall aesthetic appeal. It is a very basic black and silver color scheme, which is pretty bland. And some people, like I said, even myself, I love the way that this controller looks. I love the way the Scuf looks with my anodized silver and light blue. But then again, you can customize this thing to your heart's content and get any color scheme that you want. And the very last con, and probably the most important and the biggest deciding factor for me, is going to be the paddles on the Xbox Elite. I have played with the Xbox Elite for quite some time now, and I'm just really not happy with where they are and how they feel. It is much more satisfying to press the paddle button on your Scuf, and with the placement of the Scuf, you're not going to find yourself accidentally pressing them down. I personally know people that have done crazy things like delete an entire character from their Destiny game because they set their Xbox controller down, the Xbox Elite, and it deleted their character. So these buttons are too damn easy to press, and the placement, I think, is just really bad placement for where normal gamers hold their hands, especially those that have a really tight grip. I don't really get super tight grip on my controllers, but some people do. So for sure, the placement of the paddles is the big deciding factor for me. All in all, it sounds like I know I might be giving this one to the Elite controller for being the better of the two, but even with all of the issues that I have had with my Scuf controller, I still am going to stick with it because I really like the thumbstick and I really, really like the paddles. I won't use the hairline trigger or whatever like that. I won't use them, but I do find myself pressing A and B and also using my aim stick significantly more. I just find that more important, so I like the way that feels, and that's going to make me stick with my Scuf controller. But I will still say that this is not without problems and without issues. For the price that you pay, I do wish it was a little bit better quality. But with that said, that is going to bring us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was a long video, but I wanted to be as detailed and as thorough as possible. So be sure you let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know if you have one of these controllers, or like me, if you've had both. Let me know which one you'd prefer. I would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, other than that, guys, I am out of things to talk about, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.